Welcome everybody to a look at a new 4K Steelbook release, and it is 1984's Starman. So this was directed by John Carpenter, who also did the likes of Halloween, The Thing, They Live, Assault on Precinct 13, The Fog and Christine. And this is a science fiction romance drama that clocks in at 115 minutes long. Had a pretty sizable budget of $24 million, but unfortunately in the US at least it didn't really make much more money than that at the box office, as it only made around 28.7. So yeah, it would have needed to make a Herculean amount overseas to have made up its budget, unfortunately. So yeah, and it's one of several John Carpenter films that unfortunately did not do well in the 80s. Only have to look at The Thing, for instance, for something similar in terms of the budget and box office disappointment. But this does star Jeff Bridges, who was in the likes of The Big Lebowski, True Grit, the remake, Fisher King, and Tucker, The Man and His Dream. Also stars Karen Allen, who was in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Cruising, Scrooged, and Ghost in the Machine. Also stars Charles Martin Smith, who was in The Untouchables and The Hotspot. And finally, Richard Yeakel, who was also in the Dirty Dozen and the really rather underrated Twilight's Last Gleaming. So when an alien takes the form of a young widow's husband and asks her to drive him from Wisconsin to Arizona, the government tries practically anything to stop them. So for a long while, this was on my watch list, and it was one of only a few efforts from director John Carpenter that I had put off watching, as it didn't seem like a film that would fit his strengths as a director. But despite not being the typical horror or action focused plot that he was mostly known for at the time, this does ultimately make for a rather enjoyable effort, despite not really taking much in the way of risks. That said, the two leads are great. It is well paced, has predominantly excellent production value, especially the transformation scene where our alien goes from a baby through to a teenager and then eventually an adult. And yeah, the action scenes are also effective. The score is really well done. I've come to appreciate that more upon this second rewatch. Or second watch, and the plot is both engrossing and entertaining, while there is even some solid emotional weight to it, which is balanced neatly with several laughs, which mainly come from Jeff Bridges, in a typical kind of fish out of water kind of comedy scenario. So yeah, really rather good. Certainly enjoyed it more watching it this time around than I did originally. But it still gets around a 4.5, 4 out of 5. Not quite as excellent as some of the other films that John Carpenter has done, but I would rank this evenly alongside The Fog and Christine for his as far as his 80s efforts go. So yeah, 4 out of 5 is not bad at all. And yeah, really like this steelbook that we've got going on as well. So that's a scene from the film towards the end, and you got the title and then John Carpenter's at the top, and then on the reverse, that's made up basically, but it is in essence a part of a scene. So the meteorite spaceship coming down, and then a picture of Karen Allen and Jeff Bridges, but her and her husband before his untimely death. So yeah, then we've got the 4K disc inside and the Blu-ray behind. Don't know why the 4K disc has so many ratings on it from so many different countries. I mean, you can see you've got what's like German in there and Italian and stuff like that. So yeah, it seems a little bit lazy in that regard to just print it as one disc and then put every rating that it's ever going to be sold out on in terms of country on it. But yeah, it's only the disc at the end of the day. So yeah, that's all fairly good. And also we've got a bunch of special features on the Blu-ray disc. None of these features are actually on the 4K. That has just been left for the film. But yeah, on the Blu-ray disc, we do have audio commentary with director John Carpenter and actor Jeff Bridges. We've got 21 deleted scenes. We've got a behind-the-scenes time lapses. And then we've got They Come From Hollywood, Remembering Starman Featurette. Then we've got a Making of Featurette. All I Have to Do Is Dream music video, stills gallery, and theatrical trailer as well. So yeah, that's what you get with the steelbook. It's only held on with a little bit of tape. It doesn't mark the Blu-ray, the steelbook casing or anything like that. So yeah, and the 4K itself looks really rather good, to be honest. It certainly makes the film sound better, and certainly does look better in a lot of ways as well. It hasn't really shown up any of the special effects, to be honest, because a lot of them are practical. And when it comes to the couple of the massive explosions that are in the film, the initial one being the spaceship crashing onto Earth, and then there's another one involving a fuel tanker. They look beautiful and spectacular, really, with this 4K release. So, yeah. Now, granted, I don't have a Blu-ray to compare it to because I never watched the Blu-ray that this has had. I imagine in the past, whether or not the Blu-ray that is included in this release is the old one or not, I don't know. Again, I've never owned it before this film. I only ever saw it originally on streaming, so yeah, I can't really compare it, but it does look really good. Sounds great as well, especially when it comes to the score, which I definitely appreciated more this time around as well. So, yeah, on the whole, a really, really good effort. Perfectly solid film. Might seem a little bit outside of John Carpenter's wheelhouse, it's sandwiched in between stuff like, The Thing and They Live, for instance, but on the whole, it is really rather good. And for a film that is well and truly outside of his usual back catalogue, it does manage to be a successful film in a lot of ways. And it doesn't shy away from some violence either. And then the practical effect of the alien changing from a baby into the version of Jeff Bridges is really, really good, and does remind me a lot of the effects in The Thing, to be honest. So there is some horror influence is in there, I guess you could say. So yeah, on the whole, a really good, solid effort. 4 out of 5, like I said. So yeah, but I would ultimately rank several of Carpenter's other films a little bit higher, if not a lot higher. So yeah, but I do highly recommend trying it out, especially if you have been like me, where I was initially ambivalent about watching it because I thought that it wouldn't really suit his directing style. But it really honestly does, and it does show that he is capable of doing more than just a horror or action film, while blending minor elements of those into a much more mainstream science fiction romance drama. Because there is ultimately action in this as well. Like I said, explosions. There's a attack gun helicopter ship moment as well and stuff like that. So yeah, and you can also certainly see that the budget is on the screen when there's like a dozen helicopters flying through the air and chasing them down as they're running through a crater in the middle of Arizona. So yeah, highly recommend it though if you haven't seen it. But if you have seen it before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.